All right. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Hey there, Lloyd.
Hey. How's it going?
Oh, I cannot complain. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing better than I should be because Saturdays are normally Nintendo Pulse time. So I get up at 8 a.m. my time because I like to sleep in just a little bit and then get ready for the show at 10 o'clock. But I was up at 7 to get ready for the show at 8 o'clock, and then I'm gonna have a break and then get ready for the show at 10 o'clock. So Saturday's really the only day that I get to sleep in, and I get to sleep until 8, which is just like that's not even sleeping in, really.
Oh yeah. Before we get started, I want to say a big thank you to Clive Illenden, who just did the hour before us. If you guys don't know what this is Super Stadia Saturday, which basically is a bunch of different content creators that focus on Stadia. We're all getting together, and we're doing like a 24, actually I think it's like 19-hour live stream, and so we're going to be going all day long. Not Lloyd and I. Lloyd and I are not going all day long. We're just going for the next hour, and we're going to talk to all of you guys about all of the stuff that you want to talk about. That's what open mics are all about. But the person who was just before us is Clive Illenden, a.k.a. LordKensel. And if you missed their Stadia Talk or Stadia Chat, you can check it out in the link in the description down below. And but big thank you to them for passing their audience our way. So, Lloyd, holy cow, man! We're gonna have to talk about this again tomorrow for our actual episode. But man, did that come out of nowhere?
Yeah. I did not. To be 100% honest with you, I did not expect that at all. I'm super happy, but it came out of absolute left field when I thought everything would be canceled till like September. Like we would get nothing, no announcements, no games, no nothing from any of the manufacturers. So I'm super stoked.
Yeah, and here's what we can do to I just had this idea. I do this all the time on my Nintendo show. Thank you to Pablo the Third for the sub. I'm gonna tweet out, and I'm at Run Jump Stomp on Twitter. All right, I'm gonna tweet out right now. Make your predictions for the Stadia Connect. Actually, I should probably use a hashtag. Stadia Connect. It's Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll talk about it on Stadia Cast. Oh my God. Tomorrow. My computer's doing a lot. I'm doing a new thing. Instead of capturing the preview window, I am using OBS Virtual Cam, and I wonder if that is making my computer say, I don't know if that's a good idea.
I've never used OBS Virtual Cam because I've heard it can have some issues.
Well, I've never used it while streaming, and the reason I've been using it lately is because whenever I do my Google Meets, because I have a DSLR instead of a webcam, Google Meet doesn't recognize my DSLR as a camera. So in order to do my Google Meets with my students, I have to open up OBS and then use Virtua Cam in order to get that to work. But I've never done that while using OBS to stream at the same time. And I think that might be making things a little bit slow, but you know, I don't need to go to a bunch of different websites. So I just posted the tweet in our oh, look at that. You did it too. I just posted the tweet in chat so you guys can reply and let us know what you think, and we could talk about it tomorrow. So I don't know that I want to make a bunch of predictions right now about the Stadia Connect yet.
Sure.
Right before we went live, there were people in chat that were talking about something that was very interesting. They were saying, what do you think the May games are going to be? So, you know, we're coming up on the end of the month. They have yet to announce what our May Pro games are going to be. I assume that we won't hear about these until Tuesday. I assume that they will say, and by the way, these are our Pro games on Tuesday, right?
I would think so.
Because that would be, what day is Tuesday? That's the 30th, right? No.
No, 28th.
28th, okay. And usually it's right around this time, but it makes sense for them to make that announcement. But, you know, they'll put up on the screen, these are all the games that you can get right now with Pro, and here's 2 more. But what 2 do you think that they're going to give us? If it's 2.
I think we're going to get one of the new ones. Maybe we don't know of the game yet. Something out of left field, because it seems to be that's what they've been doing recently. And I've been trying to look at kind of a deep cut game that they could use, something that's been on the service for a while. And I got to go with one of 2. I'm thinking either Wolfenstein Youngblood or Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because those have been on the store since almost day one. Like they've been there for a very long time.
Yeah, you know, I like the idea of Wolfenstein Youngblood because I was just talking about this on a video that I made earlier this week, that I've been thinking about picking that up because it looks awesome. I'm super busy with other stuff. What's that? Do
it. I want to play with somebody. I bought it when it was on sale a while ago, and I haven't even booted it up because I want to play with someone co-op.
Okay. We'll see. Right now, I'm all about Animal Crossing and Final Fantasy VII. But when I'm done with one of those, Final Fantasy VII, because you're never done with Animal Crossing. But when I'm done with one of those, then I will, you know, I'll think about it. People in chat were saying that that they thought maybe Kine. How do you think that would go over with Kine being on sale right now? Isn't it on sale right now for $10?
I believe so. Yeah, but they've done that in the past. Like, I know there's some people in chat saying, well, it wouldn't be good if they did that because it's on sale currently. But they've done that before. Like, we got a game on sale for, I think it was like one of the Tomb Raiders was on sale for $15. And then it went off sale, and then it was the game of the month in like November or December or whenever that happened. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility if that would happen.
You know, I think that it would be great if they did it with Doom 2016. Like we've been saying all along, Doom fantastic. 2016. When are we getting this game? We already have Doom Eternal. We don't have Doom 2016 yet. It would make a whole lot of sense if it was like, and here it is, and it's free for everybody.
That was our prediction for Doom Eternal launch month. Like for sure, this is going to happen, and we've heard we've seen hide nor hair of Doom 2016. That would be perfect, and that would be a good way to bring the focus from Bethesda back from and id Software back from Doom Eternal. It's moved on to other games. It would bring the focus back. It's like, oh yeah, Doom, I'm gonna play Doom. I really love Doom 2016. Maybe I'll buy Doom Eternal. So that would be a great prediction as well. That could be one of those surprise new games, which I think is going to happen for sure this month or this coming month.
And I also think it's possible that it could be the two games that were just announced. And I think that these are both really good contenders for it because they're old games that are coming to Stadia for the first time. We don't have release dates for it, but that's the Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. Am I right on that? Yeah.
Yep.
And then the other one is, it's just one word and it's really short and it starts with a K, isn't it? It's not kind, but something very similar.
I'm trying to bring up the story and my browser's locked, so I can't bring it up. Thanks.
You know what? That's what we have chat for. Chat's going to let us know. But whatever that game is, where it looks like you're a detective in the 70s in this wintry area. Kona. There we go. I knew it was started with it was one word. You know, here. play some charades. Yeah, Kona. Yeah, I think that those would be two good contenders. By the way, we just announced these games, and here they are for free for everybody who has access to Google Stadia.
Right. And
of course, now the chat is catching up with us, and everybody's letting us know that it's Kona. Kona, I thought looked really cool. What did of those two games, Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris and Kona, which of those two games looked more interesting to you?
Kona, because I've already played Temple of Osiris and wasn't a huge fan of it, just because it kind of escaped from what the standard like Tomb Raider kind of game was. Not to say it's bad, but I really love the Tomb Raider games. Temple of Osiris it's a great game. Like I believe it at the time when it came out, I think it had like an 8 on Metacritic or something. Like it was a pretty decent title. A lot of people really enjoyed it. But I was hopeful that it would be more along the lines of a full Tomb Raider game, but it's more of like kind of Diablo light with a lot of like button mashing sections where you're trying to get away from things chasing you and temples falling down and all that stuff. I think I was playing it by myself. This would be a game that would be really fantastic for player multiplayer.
Well, if you were to compare it more to, I'm gonna make a like a scale where where we've got one side over here and the other side over here, and you were to compare Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris to, on one side we have Diablo 3, and on the other side we have Darksiders Genesis. Which one do you feel that game is more like? Because it's hard to tell from the trailer that they showed, and I haven't played it.
it's more Darksiders for sure. And to be fair, I didn't play all of Temple of Osiris. I played maybe an hour and a bit of it, and then kind of moved on to something else, as I do because I have to cover so many games and in so little time. But it's definitely more Darksiders, because you're not getting like loot fountains whenever you kill enemies. It's more it's more an exploration game than it is a loot fountain game.
Okay. That's disappointing to me because I prefer the loot fountain games. And I don't really know why. Finding the loot and then figuring out, do I want this piece or this piece? All that really does is slow gameplay down. But
Sure.
I also really like finding the loot and figuring out which piece goes where.
Seeing shiny things come out of a loot pinata just makes all the dopamine in your brain kind of just dance across your brain pan, right? Like that's what we're wired to really like. And games like Diablo are really good at it. Lorecraft Temple of Osiris does have loot. Like there's definitely a lot of loot in the game, but it's not Diablo levels of loot where stuff is constantly just popping out of enemies that you're taking down.
So I'm curious what chat thinks about the not Steam, not Stadia Connect. I kept wanting to say Stream Connect. What do you guys think about the Stadia Connect? What games are you hoping to hear from? I see a lot of people are saying EA. Do you think we're finally going to hear from EA? They, when they announced it at GDC last year, they said EA was on there. And then in November, when I talked to John Justice, I said to him, hey, we haven't heard from EA yet. Is there trouble in paradise? And he said, no, everybody that we said we were working with before, we are still working with. Do you think that we're going to hear from EA this time around, Lloyd?
I hope so. I'm really curious on what EA is going to bring. Like, I'd love to get some of the EA Sports games and stuff on Stadia just to have them. But yeah, I'm wondering where EA is. Like, we've heard nothing. We haven't even heard any hints or leaks or anything like that. So it makes me wonder what they're actually working on.
Yeah. I personally, I don't care about the sports games. I want the sports games because for people who want the sports games, because I know are you a big like, I know you like football and other sports, like you like to watch them. Do you play those games?
I not lots. Like I'll buy like NHL, EA Sports NHL hockey. I'll buy it every 2 or 3 years. I'll buy Madden maybe once a generation just to have. That's pretty much what I play. And it's mainly only playing single player.
Okay.
I don't play a lot of the multiplayer stuff. I know I have some buddies that have full sim leagues for Madden, and they keep trying to get me involved in it. And I just, I don't have the time. Like, I really would love to. I just don't have the time to sim all these games that they do. I'd love to have more time to do that.
So super chats have started coming in. Earlier in the show, we had one from Joel Thompson before we actually hit go live. So thank you very much for the support, Joel. And then Crafty just sent in a $50 super chat, which is pretty insane. Thank you very much for supporting at that level, Crafty. But they said Rocket League. Do you think Epic Games will be bringing their game? Yeah, there you go. Hit the button. Hit the button a bunch.
Rocket League, eh? I would love to see Rocket League. Like, that is a fan favorite. Everybody loves Rocket League. And if you could boot up Rocket League on any device that you own, and play a game and unlock a chest and get a piece of cosmetic, whatever, I don't know, an antenna ball or whatever it is, and then go about your day, like, that is the perfect place for a game like Rocket League would be on Stadia.
And I have to say, that is one of my, like, if you have never played Rocket League ever, you are missing out on an awesome game. When I first saw Rocket League, I said to myself, that's cool, but I'm not interested in it. This is not a game for me. Because A, I don't really care for racing games, and I didn't know much about it. And B, I don't care about sports games. But then I bought my Steam controller, and it came with Rocket League for free and all of the Valve games for free as well. So when I bought my Steam controller, I was like, well, I'll install it and try it out. And oh my God, that game is just so amazing. It is so fun and incredibly addictive because the matches are really, really short. The matches are 5 minutes long. And I've had so many amazing moments in that game where, and I am the worst Rocket League player. Like, I see these people doing these crazy tricks in the air. There's an incredibly high skill ceiling in Rocket League, and I just can't compete. But when I do play, I have fun.
Right. I thought I'd be good at Rocket League, and I played a little bit of it on PlayStation. And I'm driving, and I'm jumping, and I'm hitting the ball, and I'm almost scoring, and I'm like, this is great. And then I joined a game where people are doing like crazy sideways spins, and they're putting almost like English on the ball, and I'm like, okay, apparently I'm terrible at this game, and I should never play it again multiplayer because I'm just being embarrassed with everything that I do. So it is a game that definitely has a high skill ceiling, and it also doesn't seem like a game that would be affected by the odd blip in like latency. Like if you get like a network spike or something, it seems like there's enough straight ahead driving on that game where it would be very forgiving for that. So I think like Stadia would be the perfect location for Rocket League to really take off.
Yeah, and
it hasn't already taken off.
Yeah,
it's taken off for many years, but it would be a great way to inject maybe some new players into it.
Yeah, there's a reason why Epic Games bought it. So then, of course, I bring up Epic Games. So then Fortnite, do you think that Fortnite gets announced on Tuesday?
I really hope so. I want to get free to play stuff on Stadia. Like they've released Stadia. What we used to call base is now just Stadia. So we know that it is out there. People can play it. This might be the time to start injecting some of the free to play stuff. It's not free to play, but I've been playing a little bit of Division 2. I want to get back in and complete the main single player story, and then get into some of the other content. And I was like, well, I want to unlock all the year one content, and the only way to do that is to buy it with in-game currency. So I was playing the game, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to unlock that year one content. Went into the thing, it says you have to buy this pack. I hit my A button, it popped up. I said yes. I got all that premium currency. I bought the year one content, and it was super easy to get into the in-app purchase type stuff in that particular game. So that functionality exists in Stadia. It's easy to use in Stadia. There's no reason why having free-to-play games with lots of in-app purchases wouldn't work well on the platform.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. About do we think that Google would allow free-to-play games to be played by somebody who is not subscribed to Pro? I feel like that's the reason why you want to do this now, because everybody who has access to Stadia also are Pro members. So then they would be able to play. Or do you think that would feel like bait and switch, where then suddenly you have to, like, in 2 months, when people lose their access to Pro and they just go down to regular Stadia, suddenly they can't play those free-to-play games? Would it be a mistake for them to bring a free-to-play game now, or should they wait until after? Because I don't think that we're going to be getting free-to-play games on Stadia. It'll only be Stadia Pro.
That's what I think. Until maybe down the road, once Stadia 2.0 is out and the second gen blades are out and all that stuff is working really well, and there's a lot of Stadia blades out there sitting in the cloud, maybe the caveat to developers are, sure, you can bring your free-to-play games, but it has to run on 1.0 hardware. It's backwards compatible with 2.0, but it has to run on 1.0 hardware so that there's more blades in the Google Cloud out there, so that when people are watching a YouTube video and it says, hey, play Fortnite now for free, you click play, you boot into Stadia, and you're playing on 1.0 hardware after they've already rolled out so much 2.0 hardware. Maybe that will be the caveat down the road.
Okay, I'm understanding what you're saying. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So because, that 2.0 hardware that we talked about, and if you don't know what we're talking about, go back to last week's episode where we talk about the fact that the rumor that Stadia's second gen hardware is in the hands of developers already. But yeah, as they start replacing those Stadia blades for the first gen stuff, using that for those free to play games, that makes a lot of sense, Lloyd. I hadn't really thought of that. That's brilliant.
I have a good idea every once in a while. Now I can go to bed for the next month.
There you go.
I've used my brain power.
Canadian hibernation.
But yeah, I mean, that would make sense. That would be a good way for them to keep the 1.0 blades active, so they're not just sitting in the cloud doing nothing. And if they can take the old hardware and then continue to generate money by free to play in-app purchases, I mean, that would pay for that hardware existing in the cloud. It would pay for all the electricity and data and all that other stuff just sitting there. That would be a really great way for them to kind of extend the life of some of that hardware.
Yeah. Dazadini in chat says, I'm not really keen on Fortnite, but PUBG, yes. Warzone, yes. And I don't care to play Fortnite either. I'm not interested in it. I don't like the building aspect of Fortnite. I played it a lot when it first came to Nintendo Switch, and I did have a lot of fun with it. But then when Apex Legends came out, that's an EA game, I never played Fortnite again, because for me, Apex Legends is more my kind of game. I don't have to worry about the build. Like, I watch my son play Fortnite, and like, he's building these ridiculous towers so incredibly fast that I can't fathom how he can do it. And sometimes he just goes into like the virtual area and just practices building, and I'm like, all right, I don't have the mental capacity or the mental
dexterity
dexterity to do that anymore, and I don't have the finger dexterity to do that anymore. So I'm just gonna stick with games like Apex, where I just gotta aim and shoot, and every once in a while use a special power.
I played a lot of Fortnite, and I was playing a lot with my kids and their friends, not in a creepy way, but it was like I'd be playing with my kids, and then one of their friends would join, and I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to talk on voice anymore, so yeah, that's fine. But I got to the point where I was cranking 90s and making huge towers, and I tried playing Fortnite the other day. I can't even build like a ramp. Like you lose that skill so much and so quickly. So yeah, I'm not super hyped about playing Fortnite. But I know there's a lot of people that would love to be able to play Fortnite on high settings with low ping, and giving them the ability to do that on Stadia would be fantastic. Since it supports keyboard and mouse and controller, both types of players would be able to jump in and play that.
And I wish that more developers would do what Epic has done with Fortnite, where they say, we're going to detect the input method that you're using and put you with people who are using like input methods.
Sure.
Like, I installed, because I got a pretty beefy PC, and so I installed what the hell is it called? Apex Legends. I installed that on my computer, and that meant I was always up against people with mouse and keyboard. And I don't like using mouse and keyboard. It actually physically hurts me to use mouse and keyboard because I broke my elbow a few years back. And so I ended up just uninstalling it from my computer and playing it only on my PlayStation. But, you know, what are you going to do? Crafty is saying crossplay is a major thing that we need in all of these games. Absolutely. Google has said over and over that they want crossplay to happen. It's on the developers to make that happen, and the other platform holders. Now, Sony was getting in everybody's way for a long time, but then they, I don't know, what was it, 6 months ago? They said, all right, the handcuffs are off. Everybody can do crossplay if they want.
They said our beta tests are done. Everyone can crossplay. And then everybody on Nintendo Switch and Xbox One are saying, we've been doing crossplay for 6 months. What kind of beta tests were you doing there, Sony? Yeah, it was kind of interesting PR, a good way of backpedaling from their initial claims, I guess.
Cloud Gaming X. Oh, go ahead, Lloyd.
No, go ahead.
All right. Cloud Gaming X was just saying, wouldn't be shocked if Get Packed comes out right after the Kinect. That's one of the things that I'm also anticipating, that you know, you've got the Kinect, and they're like, and here's a game right now. Although, are there lots of people super excited for Get Packed? I'm not down on Get Packed or anything, but I don't think that would be, oh my God, we get this right now. I'm so excited.
Well, Stadia appears to be really hyped on it. The devs are releasing all this content, and Stadia is retweeting it and getting behind it as well. So, I hope that they know something that we don't. That the game is going to be like a kind of a standout on the system. I'd be really happy if that was the case.
I mean, I think it looks fun.
To play it. Yep.
Yeah, and I do want to play it. I'm just like, I don't see that as a selling point. I don't see that as, oh, it's got to get packed. Well, in that case, and that, not anything against Get Packed. I think it looks like a fun game. I just don't see it as something that's going to get a lot of people excited who aren't already fans of Stadia.
Right. Yeah. I get it. So here's a question. At the Stadia Connect, do we get Uplay Plus?
That's a great question. I don't know. It feels like, okay, so earlier you were like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and then you mentioned there's a lot of Uplay games.
Division.
Yeah, the Division.
And Just Dance and you name it. Pretty much half of the store seems to be Ubisoft games.
Right.
The reason why I ask is I was chatting with someone at work, and they signed up for Stadia, but they haven't cashed in their free 2 months. And I said, well, why haven't you done that yet? They're like, well, all I play is Rainbow Six Siege, and I'm really hopeful that comes to Stadia. It's rumored that it's coming, and there's also rumors of Uplay Plus. So as soon as that drops, I'm signing up and I'm playing Rainbow Six on Stadia, and that's going to be my main platform. So there's a lot of people that really love some of those Ubisoft games. So for Ubisoft to bring Uplay Plus, I think that would bring a lot of people over. If you basically just have to sign up for Uplay Plus and then get access to play them on Stadia immediately, I think that would be I think that would sway a lot of people to play immediately on Google Stadia.
That's true, especially if it has cross-platform saves, because then you log in on your game on Stadia, and then if you want, you can also play it on your PC. So people would use it when they are away from home or something like that, or when they're in another room. I know that there are games that sit on my PS4 and almost never get played because if I want to play them, I have to sit in this room. And so I never play them. And that is irritating to me because I don't always want to be in this room. I've got a nice TV across the hall. I've got a nice TV downstairs, and I don't always want to be sitting in this room when I play games. And that's one of the reasons that I think Stadia is so awesome. Same thing with the Switch, because I can go from screen to screen to screen and play that same game. And for me, the game that I've been waiting for Google Stadia to also have this cross-platform nonsense that my fingers are crossed for is Elder Scrolls Online. But I'm sorry, I got distracted. You asked, do I think we will get Uplay Plus? Well, that's not just a Stadia thing, though. So I don't think that this is a Stadia Connect announcement, because Uplay Plus is a Uplay thing, and then Stadia also has access to it.
Yeah, so I guess they're going to call it Uplay Plus Stadia or something, which is the ability to sign up for Uplay Plus, and on the website, click play, and you're immediately playing on Google Stadia if you've linked your Stadia account.
Right, but it's also just a subscription where you have access to all those games, and you can also do that on your PC. It's not inherently a Stadia thing, right?
Correct. You can go right now and sign up for Uplay Plus and play those games with downloads on your PC.
Oh, it's out already?
I'm 100% positive it is.
Let
me double check.
I didn't.
I'm
okay.
Sure, because there was you could sign up for the trial, and you got a 1 month for like $7 or whatever. Yeah, no, it's out. It's out and playable right now.
Oh, okay.
So I don't care so much about Uplay Plus. I want Uplay Plus Stadia, where you sign up for Uplay Plus at $15 a month. You click play, and you're playing Assassin's Creed 2 on Google Stadia immediately just by hitting that play button.
Okay, that completely changes my answer. I was under the impression that Uplay Plus was not out yet, and that just shows how much I care about most Ubisoft games. Most of there's all of these Tom Clancy games out there, and most of them are very, very similar in the way that they play. And nothing against those games, because there are people out there who love those games. But like, I played Ghost Recon, and I was like, the time to kill is so fast on this game because it's realistic. And I
Sure.
don't like realistic games. I'm not good enough. I like it if I'm playing a game and I start taking some damage. If I have time to get my bearings and figure out, oh, the damage is coming from this. Oh, there's the guy. I'm at about half health now, but I have a chance to fight back now that I'm aware of where they are. And in these realistic games, you take damage and you are dead. Like, it's over, because a headshot in that kind of game will kill you like it would in real life. So
Right.
I don't like those kind of games, and a lot of the Tom Clancy games are like that, so I just tend to ignore them. And I've just never been a huge fan. So I just assumed that Uplay Plus wasn't out yet. I didn't realize that it was out. So really what we're waiting for is for Ubisoft to make their, like, do all of the patches that they need to. Do you think that would happen in waves, or do you think that would have, like, all right, here is these 10 games are now Uplay Plus available on Stadia, and we'll have another 10 in 2 months or something like that?
I'm not sure. I know that there was a Stadia beta going on, where you could sign up for the Uplay Plus beta on Stadia. I don't know any details on it. I know of someone that was invited to it, but I never talked to that individual about what that thing is, because there's NDAs and all that stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if in the future you sign up for your Uplay Plus subscription for $15. You link a Stadia account, just a regular Stadia account, doesn't have to be Pro. You click play, and you're playing Assassin's Creed on Stadia, but you're playing at 1080p. And how that's going to work is Google has an agreement with Ubisoft, and they say, okay, every time someone plays a game, we give you a nickel or whatever the financial arrangement is. And so they take $5 of that $10 or $15 subscription and send it to Google to pay for the servers. But if you want 4K for the games that support it, if you're a Pro member, all of a sudden the performance gets bumped up. So it wouldn't surprise me if in the future 90% or more of the Uplay subscription games, so there's 100 games that are on Uplay Plus right now, it wouldn't surprise me if they launch and 90% or more of those games are available instantly on Google Stadia, which then immediately gives you like double the library or more, 2 times the library added at once. And all of a sudden Stadia becomes just another console for you to buy, but you don't have to pay for anything. You just sign up for an account. And then they can upsell you with that Pro subscription. I think that would be a really great way for Google to do it. It would be amazing for Uplay Plus, because you sign up for their subscription, then you just click play, and then they can do the background transfer of funds between but from Ubisoft to Google. I think that would be fantastic. It might not happen that way. You might have to have Pro. There might be other things, other roadblocks in front of it. But if they did it that way, I think immediately you'd have a bunch of people that would sign up for Pro because they want their games to look better.
Jersey Reactor in chat says Ubisoft are busy rebuilding games for Stadia, so I don't see a launch before Q4 really, but I could be wrong. There's a lot of games to rebuild. That's true. They do have a lot of games to rebuild, but I mean, I don't know about these games because I have not played them. Most developers tend to pick an engine, and they kind of focus on that one engine, and a lot of the initial work of porting a game is making the hooks of the engine work on the hardware in question. And if they get all of that work done on this game, then that's work that they don't have to do on the other games, and then they just have to, fix bugs and stuff like that. So again, not a developer. Lloyd's a developer. I'm not a developer. So I don't really know much about that, but that's the idiot layman take on the situation.
Yeah, I don't know how much how many rather of Ubisoft games already use Vulkan. and if they use Vulkan, the time to get things moved over to Stadia is a lot less. But if they're using like DirectX only, or some other middleware, the time taken to move that over to Vulkan is going to be long potentially. But if they're already using Vulkan in a lot of their games, not to say porting from one system to another is trivial, because it's not, but it's a heck of a lot faster than if you have to switch out your middleware for whatever your graphic engine is using.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why I believe that we haven't heard from EA yet, because they use the Frostbite engine for most of their games. And not only that, but as a publisher, EA, they mandate that many of their developers must use the Frostbite engine, and
which is fine.
Go ahead.
Because the engine lives on top of the middleware, so you have your engine like Unreal Engine or any of them will live on top of either DirectX or Vulkan or any of the other ones. So potentially they're using the Frostbite engine on PC with Vulkan, and then that would be easy to port those games from PC to Linux for Stadia. But if they're using DirectX on PC, that porting process takes a little bit more time.
Gotcha. And Stadia Games is like, Tom Clancy, what about the Assassin's Creed games, Anno and Watch Dogs games? You're not wrong. I was making a generalization. I know that they have other games other than Tom Clancy games, but they also have a lot of Tom Clancy games. Like if you look at the list of games from Ubisoft, there's a lot of them that say Tom Clancy subtitle, subtitle, subtitle. And then there's another one that's Tom Clancy subtitle, subtitle, subtitle. And I just kind of lump all those together because they tend to play very similar. That being said, I was watching my son play The Division 2, and that looks really, really fun. It looked fun enough that I almost bought it when it was on sale for $10, and I ended up not buying it because I was in the middle of Doom Eternal, and I didn't want to get distracted. Because that's my problem, is I always get distracted by new nonsense and I never get back to what I was doing before, and that's why I never finish games. And I finished Doom Eternal. How far are you in Doom Eternal right now, by the way, Lloyd?
Not much further from when we last talked.
Okay. Lloyd's been working like crazy.
Sadly, I played a little bit of Borderlands, but that's about all I've had chance to play this last week.
People are in the chat are saying hit the like button because we've got over 200 people watching and only 65. I don't like to say only 65 likes. That's 65 people have hit the thumbs up button, and I appreciate everybody who did that. But yeah, if you haven't already, hit the like button because it really does help us out.
That's right.
All right, so Lars Ray Jeppesen is saying Rockstar games on Stadia. Do you think GTA 5 comes to Stadia, or do you think that they're done porting GTA 5 so they can focus on GTA 6?
The GTA 6 is a long ways out, so I don't think that would get in the way of it. GTA 5 was a Games Pass game, and that's coming off of Games Pass, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is becoming a Game Pass game. So they've gotten probably a lot of in-app purchases and a lot of money with GTA 5 being a Games Pass game. Stadia is another platform that's ripe for people to jump in and buy the shark cards to build out whatever crazy mansion that you want in the GTA Online stuff. So I think GTA 5 would be a great addition. I think it would get a lot of people playing it.
That game, GTA 5, is like one of the best-selling games ever. Yep. It is insane. If you go on if you follow the NPD group, and every month they post the best-selling games for the month. And GTA 5 is always in the top 10, and that game is like 6 years old.
Yeah. It's all about GTA Online. Like the single player game doesn't even exist for a lot of people. They jump in and they play online and they use it. Like GTA Online has changed. Like when it first came out, you're essentially playing the stuff that you could do in the main game, but online with people, and there's roving gangs that were killing each other and all this other stuff. It was a lot of fun. But then they've added like crazy stuff. Like there's like sky modes where you're basically doing things that are like Hot Wheel tracks in the sky So you're trying to not fall off this platform because then you fall like a couple, like 5,000 feet to the ground. And it's just like, how is this inside the game? Like there was a Tron mode. There was like all this other stuff that they've added to GTA Online. So GTA Online has become its own completely different thing from the main game. The main game, that said, is one of my favorite video games that I've played in the last couple generations. Like I love GTA 5 so much, but the online stuff just took that and just went way out into left field, and it's just absolutely crazy compared to the main base game.
Crafty in chat is saying that there's a sumo mode in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's all sorts of crazy stuff that they keep adding, and I don't play online anymore, so I'm not right up on it. But I get the odd news story every once in a while, and it's just like, what are you doing, GTA Online? You're crazy. But people are still really loving it.
That's awesome. That's hilarious. All right, so what other questions do we have for chat? Because and by the way, guys, this is open mic. This is not the actual podcast. Come back tomorrow, 10 a.m. for the actual podcast where we plan things. But a little. But what do you guys want us to talk about? Dissenter says, after trying it, I don't care one bit for GeForce Now. Well, did you tried GeForce Now, didn't you, Lloyd?
Yes, I tried one game.
Yeah, me
I
too.
had one game in my Steam library, and it was okay. It was a little clunky. I see that there's a place for it in the market. Just not for me. I want to have a service that I don't have to think about. Is the game that I bought on Steam going to be playable on it in 3 months?
Yeah, and that's honestly the biggest drawback for that. Excuse me. I played it. It didn't feel clunky to me at all. It felt just like I was playing, because I tried it with Destiny 2. Because Destiny 2 is a free-to-play game. So I was able to install it and try it out, and it worked just fine, and it felt pretty much the same as Google Stadia. And I thought that's great. The difference is that they're basically renting you a PC, and Stadia is its own thing. So everybody who keeps making these comparisons between GeForce Now and Google Stadia, I don't feel like those are very fair comparisons. And the reason why I don't feel like they're fair comparisons is because Stadia can do things. It can't do them yet because they haven't really. I mean, we have Stream Connect, but that's it. There's things that are going to be available on Google Stadia that you cannot do on GeForce Now, because GeForce Now is simply a PC, a very powerful PC, and a long HDMI cable. And that means it's just running the games that you can run on a PC that if you bought that very powerful PC and put it in your house. Whereas Stadia, because it's in a data center, and they have the ability to do things very, very differently if they want to, that is much more appealing to me. Not the fact that we can play GTA 5 on Stadia or Rocket League on Stadia. Those are things that I can do now if I want. I'm much more interested in what's going to happen next year with Stadia. And that's why I decided to make a show about it, because I see the potential, and there's so many people that are focused on the now, and I feel like they just forget that there's going to be big changes in the future, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree fully. Stadia is a new console. Like that, we just have to keep calling it a console because that's essentially what it is, and it's going to grow and change just like all the other consoles. Xbox comes out with updates, PlayStation comes out with updates. They add new features, they add new functionality. That's what Stadia is. GeForce Now and Shadow and all these other services that are coming out are still viable platforms, but they're different from what Stadia is. They're, as you said, you're renting a PC with an incredibly long HDMI cable over the internet. This is a platform that gives developers other capabilities, other functionality that they can add to their games, where the other ones are just, you make a game and then it will run on those other ones.
Yeah. So we had, in my little nonsense jibber jabber that I was just doing, we had a bunch of people send in super chats, and I want to say thank you to them. Sukotronic, thank you very much for your support. And then Clive Illenden, who was the stream before us just sent in a $3.74. That's such a weird like number. Like Sukotronic was $1.09, and then Clive is $3.74. Like that's a weird number, but that's cool. Thank you very, very much, Clive. But he was doing his Stadia chat beforehand, so check the link in the description down below to check out his stream after the fact. Ray Sherrod sent in a $10 super chat. He said, "This game community is awesome. Bill and Lloyd rock." Well, thank you very much for that. And then C Troot, here's another weird number, $1.25. So thank you guys very much for the support. It's awesome. Most of the income that we make comes from memberships and super chats. Very little comes from actual ads. So thank you very much for all of that.
Another one just came in.
Did it? Oh yeah. Okay. Ray Sherrod again. He said, "Happy Stadia Super Saturday. I love you all." Thank you very much, Ray. It's actually Super Stadia Saturday, but I don't blame you because I've screwed it up almost every time that I've tried to say it. The only reason that I know what it's actually called is because it's on my screen in front of me, so I can actually see that. But thank you very much.
On the screen in front of us, it says Stadia Super Stadia Saturday, and then on the Reddit post, it says Stadia Super Saturday.
Well, now I think maybe I got it wrong.
So I'm confused still, and we were confused last time, and we continue to be confused. So I think that's what people come here for, is our confusion. So I think that's okay.
It says Nakanu says Clive did his donation in pounds sterling. That's why. Do people actually still call it that? Pounds sterling? Do they still call it that? I thought that was like an old thing.
Oh, there's still pounds, and then there's euros, and depending on where they come from, like you can get.
No, I knew it was pounds, but pounds sterling.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's the official name. People just call it pounds or quid.
Quid, yeah, there's quid too. Like my wife and I were watching British shows, and we were very confused when they would say pounds and quid, and we're like, I had to look it up, and it turns out, for those of you who are idiot Americans like myself, and you have no idea about other monetary things, a pound and a quid is the same thing. Quid is like saying buck. And I had no idea until I had to look it up because we were watching something. And as you can see, Ray's last tip showed up supersonic right down there on the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Look
instead of regular sonic. Yeah, there's like a 10% chance that it'll become supersonic, and then Crafty just killed Supersonic and brought in regular Sonic. Thank you very much for the support, Crafty. But man, you killed Supersonic. I don't know. I don't know if Ray is ever going to be able to forgive you.
Yeah, you folks are absolutely fantastic. Thanks so much there.
Yeah.
There was some chat in the chat room that Stadia isn't a console. It's a cloud gaming platform. Sure, it is a cloud gaming platform, but it's more a console because it's a closed platform
ecosystem.
It's a closed ecosystem. It's a closed platform. So as a developer, you make a game for it, and it's hardware that is the same across everything else. It's not like a PC in that every single PC is different in some form. So it's essentially like a console because as a developer, you're developing for a known hardware spec, and no one can run mods, no one can cheat, no one can do all that stuff because it's running directly on that cloud console. So that's why we call it a console, because it's way more like a console than it is like a PC, even though it is essentially Linux PC hardware.
Yes. But we do understand that it is a cloud gaming system. We know that. We do know that, but it is more like a console than it is other things.
Exactly.
And then Stadia Arcadia just sent in another one with the weird money. All right. £2 sterling. See, I'm learning. And they said, here's another one to add to the money chat.
You can also do a $5 and a $10.
Is that British or is that Canadian?
That could be for pretty much anything, but in a lot of the British shows I watch, it's like either £5 or a $5, they say.
See, we'll say $5 here, but I've never heard anybody say tenner.
it's like in Canada, you have a dollar coin and a $2 coin, but they're actually called loonies and toonies. That's not the official name, but that's what we call them up here, because
Yeah.
the $1 coin has a loon on it, and then the $2 coin, well, there's two of them, so it rhymes with loony with toonie. So yeah, there's so many great slang words for a currency.
I live so close to Canada that I'm aware of that one. Like that one, I know. I feel like I'm an honorary Canadian, but I'd never heard anybody say tenor. Can you spot me a fiver? I've heard that. I've never heard anybody say tenor.
You go to fiverr.com and then you can pay a fiver to get someone to spot you a fiver.
Oh my God, Lloyd, let's make tenor.com and we'll make so much money.
Okay, registering it right now.
All right, there you go.
So good. So folks out there, any games that you're predicting are going to come to Stadia Direct? We have another 10ish minutes to go. Are you anticipating any new game announcements? Anybody out there? I'd love to get the kind of last minute predictions from you fine folks.
New games. Are you saying like brand new, or are you saying new to Stadia?
New to Stadia, because they could be ports or whatever,
right?
But
Okay.
something new that we don't already know is coming to Stadia. Are we going to get something just out of left fields that is going to make everybody just blow up with joy?
Stadia Revolution says not Fortnite. Mark thinks that we'll hear an ESO date for sure, and Apex Legends. I'm hoping. Mark and I think we can be friends, because I am excited for ESO and I love Apex Legends, but I can't be bothered to patch it on my PS4 anymore.
Yeah, that's a big one. What is the other one? Oh, a full release of the Worm game. Yeah, I'd love to see the full release of the Worm game to play.
I don't think that's happening. I don't think that they're ever going to bring that out. It's just something that allows them to test the Stadia
tech demo.
Yeah, it's a tech demo. Dissenter is saying Valorant. That's a huge game right now. Like there is a lot of people talking about it. It's basically Counter-Strike with superpowers. And I think that would be awesome. I don't know anything about Riot Games. Are you familiar with them? I know about them and I know the games that they make, but like, are they console? Do they make console games at all?
I don't believe they made anything on the console for a while. Not that I can think of off the top of my head anyway. Yeah, I don't know, man. Valorant would be great. I mean, that's a game right now that is kind of taking over. Like all the big streamers that were streaming Fortnite and Warzone have kind of moved on to Valorant. So that's doing a lot of really great PR for them. Bringing that to Stadia would be really great for Stadia, because there's so much clout behind it right now on Twitch, on YouTube, on all these platforms where people are playing these games, and for other people to watch. Bringing it to Stadia would be fantastic. But yeah, they make mainly console games. I'm looking at all the games they've released over the last little bit, and it's PC games. I can't see any console games, not except for stuff in like 1986. So it's been a very long time since Riot has released a console game. So I don't know, but Stadia is a console essentially, but it's also very much a PC. So that's a possibility, maybe. I don't know. That would be great to see, though.
Water Rice says, thank you for all your hard work. And they sent in £4 sterling. And I'm going to always call it that from now on. Cloud Gaming Extreme says, happy Stadia Super Saturday. Keep up the good work, guys. Maybe that's what it's called. Maybe it is Stadia Super Saturday, and I put the wrong title in. We'll never know. Ever. What about Overwatch?
Overwatch? Overwatch would be great.
I mean, obviously it'd be great, but do you think it'll happen? We only have 6 minutes left.
I think it would be great if they tied in with the release of the Overwatch 2 updates. That's going to add all the new functionality and more single player content and stuff like that. I think it would make more sense around that.
Jeff Kaplan, who is the guy in charge of Overwatch, he constantly said, "There's no way we're bringing Overwatch to Nintendo Switch. He never said that, but what he said over and over was, look, we're already supporting 3 platforms. We're supporting Xbox One, PS4, and PC. And when we release a patch, because this is a living game where we keep coming back to it, when we release a patch, we have to patch so all of those get the patch on the same day. So bringing it to the Nintendo Switch is not really something that we're interested in right now. And then they changed their mind when the Switch sold like crazy, right?
Exactly.
The Switch sold like gangbusters. And right now, Stadia has it sold like gangbusters? Not really. You know, a lot of us complain that we can't find online matches. However, now that Stadia is out, I think that will probably start to clear up. I haven't really been trying to play any online matches since. But I think Stadia needs a little more market penetration before we see something like Overwatch on it.
Yeah, fair enough. We don't really know when Overwatch 2 is coming out, which is just like the paid patch for Overwatch. Yeah. The release date is 2020, so we'll probably get it later in the year. And if it launched on Stadia, I think that would be a great way to bring the game to Stadia, bring the Overwatch 1 content, the Overwatch 2 PvE, and other stuff to that platform as well. I think this may be a little early to announce it during the Stadia Connect if it's going to actually happen, but I think Overwatch living in the cloud on Stadia would be fantastic, because again, it would be like Rocket League. You can pop in, play a 5-minute match on your lunch, and then get out and go about your day. Having it available in a browser is just so powerful, and a great way again to kind of leverage the in-app purchase market that's on Stadia to buy your keys and your loot boxes and all the other stuff that is in all these games.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we only have about 3 minutes left, so we just want to say thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for everybody who has shown up and hit that like button. Thank you to everybody who sent in their super chats. You guys are amazing.
Yep.
And you know, we've got when earlier when we said, like 60 some people had hit that like button. And then that exploded up to over 100 now. So thank you, everybody who's done that. Listen, Super Stadia Saturday, or Stadia Super Saturday, or Saturday Stadia Super, whatever the hell it is that you want to call it, is going to keep going. And what you should do is, in a minute or two, I just spammed the chat with the link to the next show, which, all of the chatting that I just did is called, I forgot what it was called. It's called Saturday Morning Stadia Talk. All right, Saturday Morning Stadia Talk. Click on that link, or go into the description down below and click on that link if you're watching this after the fact, so that you can see the next part of Super Saturday Stadia. I don't know what it's called.
Stadia on a Super Saturday stuff.
And that's right. And
S words.
I almost forgot. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., we're going to actually have our full thoughts on predictions for the Stadia Connect, predictions for maybe the May games. And we're going to talk about all of the predictions that you guys sent in. If you replied to my tweet, I'm at RunJumpStomp on Twitter. Reply to that tweet, and we'll get it on the show tomorrow. Anything else, Lloyd, before we clear this up?
No, this has been awesome hanging out with all of you fine folks. Stadia Super Saturday is a fantastic event. This is the second time that it's been organized and done. Get out there, check out some new content creators. Show your love to the people that you already are familiar with and loving, but be sure to send some love out to some of the new people that are involved on the event. Stadia is a really great platform, and having more voices out there is going to help us. Help Google to get the word out to everybody out there that maybe doesn't already use Stadia.
That's right. Bye, everybody.
Later.